Okay, that should be good. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, perfect, cool. Let's get started. So, what are we going to be building? We're going to be building a note-taking application. So, I'm primarily a Markdown user. So I write a lot of Markdown, but there's some things in Markdown that I just don't like writing. A good example is like links and images. It just feels a bit bloated. So we're going to look at building some plugins or extensions for Common Mark that will let us use custom syntax, hopefully. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start by installing Breeze. Breeze. Because I want some authentication. So let's just do Breeze install. We can do npm i and npm run dev. We'll just let this install. While that's installing, let's just create a notes.md file so that I can map out some syntax. So I'm basically happy with everything. Like header syntax is fine. That actually makes sense. Some things like images, where you have this syntax, like you have a bang, square brackets, and then normal parentheses. That feels like too much to get an image working. So I think I want to use some sort of custom syntax for images, something like percent or dollar maybe, where you can have percent and then some URL to an image, and that just basically gets translated into an image like that. And maybe if you want to change the alt tag, it can be square brackets after, and this will be my alt tag, something like this. This feels a little bit nicer. Maybe it's not as clear as this. I don't really know, but we're going to play around with it. We're going to have some fun and see what we can get done. So let's just save that for now. So we've got Breeze. I'm just going to head over to notepal.test, and here is our application. Let's go ahead and migrate the database first. Unknown database, that is because I need to create the database. So we'll do notepal. Hey Kevin, how's it going? So yeah, we're going to be building a note-taking application. It's going to be Alpine, I think. I'm just going to use Alpine on the front end. I'm not going to use Livewire or anything like that. Just Alpine for speed. It should be pretty rapid. Maybe I'll use Livewire. We'll see how it goes. But this one's basically going to be building some extensions for Common Mark. So let's actually go ahead and install that as well. So is it League Common Mark like this? Oh yeah, right. Laravel comes with Common Mark as a dependency, so it's already installed. Okay, cool. Let's also get pest in here. So pest PHP pest. Let's do some testing. And is it Laravel pest? What is the package? pest Laravel. No, pest Laravel plugin. No, pest Laravel. Pest plugin Laravel. I was almost there. Okay. That's a dev dependency. So composer require dev. And then we can do PHP artisan pest install. I've already started the repo. And let's get some git commits going as well. So we'll just init. Perfect. Cool. Yeah, so let's get started. Let's go to Chrome and we can search. What can we search? Common Mark extensions. So let's just search this. We are on, what version are we on? Let's have a look. 2.0, nice. We love to be on the latest versions. So there'll be a section here somewhere about building extensions like this. So let's create a class. So we'll just create a, just call it support for now. And we'll create a Markdown folder. And let's just create a Markdown class. So this is going to be an app support Markdown. And do some stuff up here, so strict types. And this is application code, so I can make it final, it doesn't really matter, but let's just do this. And in our constructor, we are going to want to receive, what was it? An environment maybe. Yeah. I mean, if we wanted to be smart about this, we could put this stuff inside of a service provider and then just type into it. Let's actually, yeah, public function underscore construct, and let's just make a private, what was it? Environment. This is probably overkill. Let's just create a public function convert method, and that just accepts a string of Markdown, and it will return not HTML. It will return a string, and we can just new up an environment. So environment. And converter will be a new Markdown converter with that environment, and we can just return converter, convert to HTML, Markdown. And this is moaning, that is get content, that's what we want. Perfect. Any questions so far? Just while I get some of this bootstrapping stuff done. So we've got that. Let's make a test. We'll make this, I forget now. Is it, yeah, hyphen unit. So let's just create a Markdown test. This will be a unit test, and we'll use pest. And this would have created a boilerplate pest file, which comes out of the box with Laravel now. I believe Luke Downing contributed this, so that's pretty cool. We can just make pest tests without having to make the, without having to use the make pest or pest test command. Cool. So let's just do it can be constructed, And this is like a sanity check that I like to do in all of my tests. It's called new Markdown. Let's just import that. And we would expect this to be an instance of Markdown. Great. So let's go back to our notes and think about what we're going to change. So what things actually come? So we have auto links, and that actually supports the style that I like, which is good. This extension is included by default within the GFM extension. Okay. Do we have to add this? So let's update ours to use, we can say environment, add extension, what was it? Common mark core extension, like that. Let's also add the new GitHub flavored extension. And that should be good enough. Let's go back to our test and we'll just start testing some stuff. So test it can convert auto links into A tags. So let's just test this out. So Markdown equals new Markdown. And we would expect Markdown parse or convert HTTPS google.com to be a string and to contain a href equals, it will have something like that. Let's see if this passes. And it does. Perfect. First test written. And this is just to make sure that auto links work, which is pretty cool. Pest's expectation API is brilliant as well. I think even if you're not using Pest, then you can still use the expectation API in your normal PHP unit tests, which is pretty powerful because you can chain, you can do like proxied method calls, like higher order tests. That's pretty cool. Great, so we've got auto links. What other extensions do we have? Attributes. This doesn't really bother me too much. I rarely add attributes to things. Smart punctuation. Nope. Task lists, that's a pretty big one. That comes with the GitHub flavored Markdown one. Let's actually have a look. So tables, disallowed raw HTML is fine. Strike through, that's good. External links. Ooh. Oh, I like this. Yeah, let's add this as well. This is something that I actually like. It's a security feature. So if we add extension new external links with it, external link extension, and now our test might actually fail now. Yeah, because it's adding the rels to our A tags. So let's just test that. Perfect. So that fixes the test. That is a good one actually. So we can mark internal hosts. So in here, what was the key? External link. So for our external links, if I could type, we've got internal hosts, internal hosts or hosts. And this can just be config app URL. That will work fine. And we want it to always open in a new tab. So open in new window. Open in new window, true. And again, this is likely going to cause our test to fail because it's now going to have a target class config does not exist. That is correct. That is because we are in a unit test and Laravel doesn't get bootstrapped in unit tests. So let's just force this to be like a pseudo unit test where Laravel does get bootstrapped. And if you haven't seen the uses function, it just changes like the base test class that gets used for this test file. So our test is failing, and that's because target blank is now on our URLs. So we'll just make sure that's in there. Great. So we've got auto links. We've got some security features as well. How about heading permalinks? This is also a nice one. Yeah, this is a really nice one. So this will add like IDs to your headings and also like little quick access links that you see on like the Laravel documentation. We'll leave this for now. Let's do some fun stuff. So let's create an extension. So Visual Studio Code, Markdown, better image extension. So we need a namespace, which is app support Markdown. Let's declare strict types equals 1. So final class, better image extension, implements extension interface, I believe it was. This is going to have a go at us because we're not implementing all of the methods. So let's add public function register. And now we can come in here, environment, add extension, new better image extension. And hopefully our tests still pass. They do. Perfect. Let's make this window a little bigger. Great. So we've got our extension. And if we go back to Chrome, we can add inline parsers and inline renderers. Interesting. So let's have a look at the common mark spec, because I think images are block elements. Oh no, they're an inline element. So syntax for images is like the syntax for links, with one difference. Instead of link text, we have an image description. The rules for this are the same. Okay, so we're going to create a custom inline parser or renderer, which is fine. We can do that. Any questions? Anyone want to know what we're doing? Okay, so extensions. Let's figure out how we can create a parser. So we need to create a parser, which is fun. I like parsing. So let's create a better image parser. And this is going to be app support Markdown final class better image parser. And let's not forget to declare strict types. What did we need to implement for our custom parser? Let's just open this in a new tab. So we should implement the inline parser interface. Inline parser interface. we need a public function get match definition and public function pass. Yep. Back to Chrome. So this method should return an instance of inline parser match, which defines the text the parser is looking for. Examples of this might be at, which matches any at characters found in the text, match the text foo, case insensitive, that's interesting. Okay, let's or pass. This method will be called if both conditions are met. So if the engine has found a matching string in the current line and no other inline parsers have a higher priority that have successfully passed the text at this point. So I think our syntax is going to be for images. We're going to do something like %. Let's do a %, and then the URL to an image. So let's just go to Unsplash. Or what is it, Lorem Pixum? Yeah, Lorem Pixum. And let's just get a square image. What was that URL? So you do a % followed by an image, or the URL to an image, and that will get converted into an image tag with a source of whatever you have specified, like that. I think that's good. Are image tags self-closing? I could never remember. So that will get converted into that. And if you want to specify a custom alt text, you can follow it up with some square brackets. And this will be like my image. And in which case that will be an alt with my image, which seems good enough. So we need to return an inline parser match, and what did Chrome do? So a literal string. So we want to match the string %, like that, which is fine. And if we head back to Chrome and look at what the parse method needs to do, so it gets some context, and parse should return false if it's unable to handle the text at the current position for any reason. Other parsers will then have a chance to try parsing that text. If all registered parsers return false, the text will be added as plain text. Returning true tells the engine that you've successfully parsed the character and related ones after it. If it is your responsibility to advance the cursor to the end of the parsed match text. Add the parsed inline to the container. Okay, so let's look at the Twitter handle example. So that actually appends a new link. So let's sort of map out what we want to happen. So we have a %, we have an image, and then we have like an optional alt tag like this. This is our grammar. So the image will be everything up until the white space. Let's just return true for now so that this is happy. And look at this Twitter example. So cursor. Yeah, so we want to do something like this. Let's just copy and paste this. So this is saying get the current position of the cursor, which means like the position in the text. And then we're going to say the % symbol must not have any other characters immediately prior. So if you type something like %, that's not valid. We need you to either have no character, so it's the start of a line, or a space. So you could say like hello, followed by a %, and then the image URL goes here. That's fine. So we can just remove all of these comments. We can kind of understand this. So if the previous character is not equal to null, meaning it is something, and it's not a space, then we return false, meaning we can't handle this this point of the text. We can't parse it successfully. This seems to be a valid match. Advance the cursor to the end of the match. Oh, interesting. So they're using a regex, which makes sense because in it, why don't we do that instead? Because right now we're just saying, you know, any %, but really we want a % followed by a URL and optionally an alt tag. Okay, time for some regexer. So PCRE, let's just do single line for now. Actually, no, we won't. We'll do global. So here's something that we want to match, google.com. So we match a % and then a space. So that has to be a space. And then we want to capture the URL. And I mean, technically this can be any text, right? So this could be like a relative path or just a path like that. You could start it like that. So we'll say, was it any character except new line? No. Any word, digit, white space? No. How does autolink handle this? We can just nab their regex. So GitHub flavored, autolink, URL autolink parser. Oh, they've got a full URL regex. Okay. Why don't we take everything, any character, no white space, more than one. I think that makes sense. So then if we have a space there, it's not going to count, and it'll just pass up until there. And if we look at our details, that is not what we wanted to do. Oh, the match is Google. This is just like bugging out a little bit down here. Group. All right. Do we want square brackets plus like that? Yeah, there we go. So we get match 0, which is fine. Group 1. Explain. Yeah, so we're not actually capturing the %. And then we want to optionally have another space followed by a square bracket, which we need to escape. So we can match this, and we can say 0 or 1. How do we do this? 0 or 1. So we can say 0 or more, but then that's going to match. We can do one of those 0 or more times. Oh no, the white space needs to be a part of that, doesn't it? Because we don't always want the white space at the very end. I hate regex. Does anyone actually like regex? I think it's a serious question. So we've done this. That seems to work. So let's put another one in. Google.com, and then let's just put my text. And in between here, we can we actually want to capture that. We want to capture this. We don't actually want that to be the capture group, do we? We want to space 0 or more. So this will match that. Or we can capture it and just trim the. It's really useful, but hard to say I like it. Yeah, that's true. It's, you know, you wouldn't be able to do a lot of things without regex. I mean, like most of the Blade compiler is powered by regex, so no regex, no Blade, or not Blade as we know it. I think Twig uses like an actual AST, like abstract syntax tree, a full-blown parser instead of a regex replace, which is pretty cool. But that's, you know, that's how it does the pipes and stuff like that. So let's just say we want one space and a or anything, any character except a new line, and we want 0 or more of these, and 1 or more of those. No, that has not worked. Let's explain. Matches a dot character. That will be why. So, okay, there we go. So if we look at our list, we've got group 1, which is going to be the URL, and then group 2, which is this group here, is going to be everything there. Can we not have like? Can we not group that? Yeah, we can. That'll be the third match. Okay, that's fine. Excuse me. Yeah, that seems fine. This is the regex we want then. So that will match 0 or more of those, or we kind of just want like 0 or 1. Oh, question mark, like that. Question mark is 0 or 1, so it's either there or it's not there. Perfect. Cool. So let's use that as our regex. So back in our image parser, we'll change this to regex. Did this parser have email autolink parser? No, it did not have the slashes. I guess it adds those for you. Yeah, that makes sense. So now we need to go back to the Twitter example. So we get handle, which is going to be cursor advanced by. That is what we want. We want to move the cursor forward for the entire length of our match. And let's just dd inline context get sub matches. Let's just see what we're getting in here. This won't actually do anything until we write a test. So test, it can convert better image syntax into image tags. So we get Markdown is new Markdown. Expect Markdown convert, and let's just get our ipsum to be string. And if we run these, it should just dump out all of our matches. It did not. But does that mean that it's not picking up on the regex? Did I even register the parser? Oh no, I didn't even register the parser. So environment, add inline parser, and this will be a new better image parser. There we go. So now we get our matches. So the 0th match is going to be the URL. So we can add an inline. So we can say matches equals inline context get submatches. And we can, I imagine, just do inline context get container append child new image. Yes, new image. And this will be match 0, like so. And if we update our test, this should contain image source with the URL that we have here. Let's give this a go. Let's see if this passes. No, it does not. And that is because, oh, it always adds an empty alt tag. Makes sense. It's better to have an empty one than no alt tag at all, and it is self-closing. So we've created a custom image syntax for Markdown. Let's also see if, so how do we pass the alt tag in? We have a label. Is the label the alt tag? Yes, it is. Okay, that's fine. So the label is the alt tag. So let's create another test. It can convert better image syntax with alt tag into image tags. So now we can put our alt tag here, and this will be foobar. And we want to, if matches, or if count matches is greater than 1, just dd matches, just to see what the structure of those captures are. So we want 2, we want the second capture group. And in here we can just say is set matches, or we can use null coalescing. So matches 2, otherwise an empty string. And in theory, this test should pass. And it does. Okay, brilliant. So let's commit this feature. Markdown parser with better image syntax. So that's pretty cool. We have created a custom Markdown extension. Something else that I want is nested double quotes. I think I want nested nested double quotes, nested block quotes. Or do I? Do I want nested block quotes? Let's have a think. So nested block quotes are, so you have a block quote which normally, let's just create a fake block quote. A block quote normally has like a bar on the left hand side and you write some stuff in here. A nested block quote would literally be a block quote inside a block quote. And some nested stuff here. Is this useful? Or are we just going a bit overkill? Let's leave it with this custom image syntax for now. That was pretty fun. That's the first extension I've built since probably like version 1.3 of Common Mark, or maybe even version 1. I built a highlighting one. Yeah, that was a couple of years ago now. yeah, how are we doing for time? 40 minutes, not bad. We've had a few people come in and out, which is pretty cool. If you are still here, say hello. Maybe as Kevin. So let's actually start building some Laravel stuff. Or more accurately, some Alpine. So let's just create a user. And great, we have a user. We can stick with this for now. Yeah, Kevin's here, cool. Kevin's always here. I appreciate you, Kevin. So, we've got a dashboard. We can just reuse this dashboard. Let's create a model. So we've got note. I also meant to make a factory for that. So note factory. Let's working while watching. Nice. I appreciate it. So we've got notes. Let's give it a title. Let's give it a long text for the content. Let's give it a slug. And we'll use the slug for the URLs. Yeah, I think that just about does it. I'm also going to get Sparsy's Laravel stubs package in here, just because they basically do the same thing I do, or I do the same thing they do. So Sparsy stubs. And let's just make this migration look somewhat like their stub. So no down method. And we return a new class that extends migration. And a semicolon. So Laravel in recent, or I think Laravel 9 maybe, will have anonymous migrations as the default, I believe. This helps prevent like class conflicts. If you, I don't know, you add a column to a table, you drop it and then you add it back, you're probably going to call it add so-and-so column to table. So you'd have a naming conflict in the class. Not in the file name, but in the class. So I think that's all we want actually. Let's migrate that. Let's go to our factory and generate some titles. So this faker. We can do NB words. Let's just do 3 words, that's fine. And we'll say we want it as a string. Otherwise it returns an array, I believe. Yep, it returns an array. Title equals that. So the slug is going to be automatically generated. So we don't need to specify in here. And content. Does Faker have a Markdown helper? No, it does not. Faker, Markdown, PHP. If someone has built this, oh wow, there we go. Look at that. That is exactly what we want. And it actually generates Markdown. Although I don't like that Markdown. Let's just leave it for now. We can add the content ourselves. So that'll be a requirement that we always have to add the content, which is fine. I don't like dot blocks, so let's get those out of here. So we've got a factory. Let's do some stuff. So let's go to our roots file. We're just going to write everything inline because that's just the way I like to work when I'm prototyping stuff. So we'll return a view, notes.index, doesn't exist yet, but it will do. And let's just pass through all of our notes for now. And we'll give this a name, notes.index. Yeah, let's pass through all of our notes. Let's create a new file, resources, views, notes, index.blade.php. And we'll use X app layout. And let's also add this link to our navigation. So we'll just do the desktop one. This will be notes.index, notes.index, notes. That is the wrong tab. Let's close some of this down. Go to notes, undefined variable header. Yes. So back in our index, if we go to dashboard, we can see what this looks like. And just copy and paste it. But this is the header bar at the top. Yeah. So notes. And let's actually take the padding section from the dashboard as well. And hello. Let's see what this looks like. Great, that's good enough for now. Let's get some Tailwind UI stuff in here as well. So we'll get a table. Yep, this one will do. And we'll just whack that in there and run our formatter. So columns will have a title, a slug, a number of words, and reading time in minutes. And we'll have the edit action there as well. What actually changes? Is it just this background color? I think it is. So at for each, notes as notes, or at for else. So we can put an empty row in there. Do at empty. Let's start with a white background. Like so. So there's our row. This all needs to be indented. So the first column is going to be our note title, and then our note slug. And then we'll have an accessor. So number of words isn't really going to work with symbols, is it? I think it might actually if we do str word count. Let's just do number of words and reading time. We can come back and sort that out later. And we also need to change the class. So we'll say loop odd bg white, otherwise bg gray 50. Yeah, that seems right. Let's just get rid of that for now. And if we render this, there will be nothing on the page because we've got no notes. So let's make a seeder. Note seeder. And we'll do note factory times 20 create. And we also need to generate slugs. So we'll use, is it Laravel slug? Sluggable. And on our note model, we'll need to set this up. So use slug, was it has slug or sluggable? Sparsy sluggable. Has slug. Use has slug. Just doesn't want to import that, does it? And we need a method here, which will be get slug options. Return slug options. new slug options. Slug options create. So return slug options create. Undefined type. I have imported it. Do I need to index the workspace? Does it not know that this class exists? There we go. It's been causing me issues lately. Generate slugs from title. Generate slugs from title. Save slugs to slug. So that will generate the slug. We need to give it some content because I didn't make content nullable. That should be nullable. So make migration, make content column nullable on notes table. I didn't do the old autofill. So schema table notes with a callback function. This will be a blueprint table. Table long text content nullable change. If I migrate this, it's going to have a go at me. So I need to composer require doctrine deval and rerun my migrations. Cool. Yes, I want to save that. So ADB seed note seeder. Was it note or notes? Note seeder. And now back in the browser, we should have 20 notes in the table. Unfortunately, we didn't give them any content, so we can't do number of words or reading time. Which is a shame, but we can always do it later. Cool. Yeah, let's actually paginate these now. Otherwise I'll forget, and I'll start using it, and we'll just do paginate, and then in here link or notes links. What does this look like? Let's wrap that in a div and just give it MT4. Yes, like so. Okay, that's a little bit better. So we can go to the next page, and that all works fine. Okay, let's do another commit. So feature, note, model, and basic index page. There we go. And let's just make sure our tests are passing. They are. Great. What are we on? 55 minutes. Let's start making the edit page. So this will be a get root notes note slug. So we're going to use the slug for routing. We'll do note. We'll return view notes dot update, or is it edit, and our note will be the note, like so. So we need to make a new view, notes dot edit dot blade dot php, and we can just nab some stuff from in here. Well, we can nab all of that and close off the div, and that one. up here we will output, oh, I'm already in tags, note title, attempt to read property name on null. Am I logged out? Let's just wrap this in a auth middleware. Why did I get logged out? I got logged out. Ryan at test.com. Okay, we're logged back in. Oh, I ran my test suite, but my test suite isn't pointed to an SQLite database. How many times have I done that before? So I ran my test suite and it cleared out my normal database because that's the connection. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. So we're gonna have to run our seeder again. Let's update our factory. Let's just update our factory to include some content. So this faker real text, and we'll just do up to 200 characters. That's fine. Note seeder. And now we should have some notes in here, which we do. Let's actually calculate number of words. So I don't know how well this is going to work for Markdown, but for the plain text that we've got, it should be fine. So number of words attribute. That is what I called it, isn't it? Number of words, yep. So this will be str word count, this content. And if it's null, we'll just default to an empty string. Yeah, I guess that's right. And we can also do reading time. So get reading time attribute. So our word count is going to be this number of words. Let's say words per minute equals average words per minute. The average typing speed, reading 200. It's far too high for when you're reading code. So let's do 180. So our words per minute, we'll say average words per minute. You know, these variables are temporary, we really don't need them. But just so that we know of the meaning. So average words per minute. So our reading time is going to be the word count divided by the average words per minute. And we want to clamp this. Let's actually round it up. So we'll round it up. And we can say, just to be safe, is reading time less than 1? If it is, then we'll return 1. Otherwise, we'll return reading time. And this will return an int. And this will also return an int. So let's do mins. Have a look. So can actually do str plural min note reading time. There we go. So 1 min. Let's actually just force one of these. Let's just get our first note, update the content to just test like 200 times. Or test space. Oh, we need to, yeah. I knew there was something that I forgot to do. Protected, guarded equals an empty array. Let's try that again. So now our first note should have 2 minutes because it's 200 words divided by 180, but we're always going to round up. Yeah, we're always going to round up just so that there's a bit of buffer. So that will be like sealed. And then we're saying, is it greater than 1? Is it less than 1? 1 else 2. Like that. Raycast is really good, by the way. If you're looking for, I don't know if Alfred can do this sort of stuff, but it's got like a full expression evaluator that it runs through the calculator, which is really handy for testing, like ternaries and stuff like that. Let's hook up, we'll just do feature, calculate number of words and reading time. Let's hook up the root as well. So root notes.update for the note. And I didn't give this a name. So notes.edit. That's meant to be edit. So now we should get taken to this page, which seems about right. Let's start building a Markdown editor. Is there any decent Markdown editors? Like, just lightweight Markdown editor JS. GitHub. What does this one look like? That is a full app. Yeah, we don't want full like WYSIWYG editors. We just want a Markdown editor. In which case, we're going to be going to Livewire already. Let's get Livewire installed. Let's also install filament forms. So the filament forms package is originally built by a few people. I'm involved, Dan and Ryan Sherling as well. And I actually built the original Markdown editor for filament. And the filament forms package is now completely separate. Kevin says, I've been full in on Raycast lately. Maybe a fun stream would be creating a useful extension for Laravel devs. Yeah, I've actually, I've got a script. I've got a script for Laravel which searches the docs. So if you wanted to search Blade, it would use the Algolia API to make a search and then open it in the browser. That's just a Node script. How can I? Oh boy, I don't even know where this is. Code.config. Is there a Raycast folder? Scripts. Laravel.js. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so it imports Algolia, the open package as well, so that you can open links and it will use the OS's default app. And it literally just uses the Algolia API to make a search for the Laravel 8 docs and it opens the top hit in the browser. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines of code, 11 lines of code. You could get rid of these as well, and all the white space, and you'd have like, like a 7-liner to search the Laravel docs from Raycast. I've also got like a deploy HQ one, which is what I use at my day job for deploying all of our projects. But yeah, no, it's really cool. We want Visual Studio Code, don't we? Where do we want to go? We want to go there. I don't know why that opened. Oh, because it's a single file. It just opens in the current editor. Cool. So let's create a... Oh, actually, we need to do all the install steps. So existing projects. We're going to need Alpine, Tailwind forms, which we already have. So we need Alpine. So npm install Alpine. And in app.js, let's import Alpine from Alpine.js. The dog is barking. Something has annoyed the dog. Let me temporarily mute my mic. Let's just mute this quickly. Give me 2 seconds just to sort the dog out. Okay, there we are. Cool, so we've installed Alpine. We also need to set up Tailwind slightly, so we need to add this to our config, and this is just to purge the filament styles. Let's add some colors. Also, we don't actually need, we just need the colors. Perfect. Colors is not defined. Let's import that. Is there anything else we need to do in the Tailwind file? This is already done. app.css. Just import some custom styles up there. And the forms plugin itself in our app.js. Cool. So the filament forms package ships with some custom JavaScript to handle all of the Alpine stuff. So there are a few steps. If it's a fresh Laravel app though, it makes it really easy. You can just run a single command and it sets everything up, like it does all the JavaScripts in that for you. But we're not so fortunate in this situation. We're going to want this somewhere, maybe in our app layout. Just after here, let's add Livewire styles, and at the end of the body, Livewire scripts. And apparently we are ready. Do we need a stack called scripts? We might do. Let's put that there. That's interesting that you put Livewire scripts above there. I never do that. All right, let's get our watcher going. We'll get a npm process going, and we'll try and build out this Markdown editor. And we'll make is that compiling? Yep. We'll make a Livewire component just called notes edit or edit form. I've already started the repo. So creating a form, we need to implement a hasForms contract and use the interacts with forms trait with forms. So this is going to give us like a magic property that we can use to render the form. Let's actually go ahead and render the form or render the component. So Livewire notes.edit form. I generally prefer the directive for Livewire just because like the blade component like element, I feel like that can get lost very quickly, and at least with this it gets its own highlighting. It's not just highlighted as a HTML tag. So we need a public note, and we need to pass the note through. So note, and this should render, and it does. Let's actually get a form going. So we can do a protected function get form schema and return an array. And this is going to be the configuration for our form. So this is where we're going to put all of our form fields. So let's do a Markdown editor for note.content. And it's a nullable field. But other than that, there's not really much to it. Why is this not rendering? JavaScript error? Yes, Alpine.js Webpack imported module.plugin is not a function. You are correct. That is because I didn't upgrade Alpine. It's still on 2. Silly me. Let's do an npm update. Just to make sure that we've got the latest dependencies. This is going to be really slow now. I hope not. Let's run our watcher again. And that should fix the problem. I'm surprised it didn't give us an error in the console, to be honest. Do we still have an error? No, we do not. But do we have a form? So main. We do have a form, or we have a Livewire component, but we're not outputting the form yet. So in our edit form, all we need to do is just echo out this form. And this is going to render all of our fields. It's not going to do buttons or anything. It's just going to be the form fields. But that's really as simple as it is. And now you can see I have a Markdown editor, which is pretty cool. We have preview built in as well. The only thing that isn't going to work is, oh boy, I can't even remember how this form editor is built. Oh, nice. Yeah, it is nice. So yeah, this is, let's actually go ahead and take a look. Filament forms on GitHub. So resources, views, components, Markdown editor is down here. So it's an Alpine component that was built from scratch. Most of it was built from scratch, actually. It uses a GitHub package. So GitHub's Markdown Editor is pretty good. So when you press stuff like bold, it enters this and it highlights it in real time. So all of these buttons are powered by GitHub's Markdown Toolbar, which you can see here. So we have Markdown Toolbar and then MD bold. We can also do Command B, and you get a nice little shortcut there. Command I, Command not save. I can't remember what strike through is. It will tell you though. There is no keyboard shortcut apparently. But yeah, so this is all customizable. What I want to remove is the attach files toolbar button. So on the field, you can say disable toolbar buttons, and we don't want to enable attach files. So we will disable that. And if we go back to the browser, Chrome, that image button that was just there has disappeared. So you can conditionally render buttons, which is really powerful. If you can use this as like a normal Markdown WYSIWYG, give this to a client, and if you don't want them uploading images, then you can remove that functionality. You can drag and drop images and stuff like that. What I want to look at though is whether or not we can change the renderer for the Markdown. So this will be in JS Components Markdown. It's using marked. I love these live videos. Thanks for doing it. No worries. Here, I'm building stuff anyway. Why not live stream it? Someone might be interested. There is some complex JavaScript going on. Which it looks like Dan might have rewritten this actually. Well, this might be my old code. I can't remember. But that basically checks for things. If I come in here and add a list item and hit enter, it auto inserts another list item. If I hit enter again, it's going to remove it, and it'll do it for numbers as well, I believe. Yep. You can continue them like this. So there was some complex JavaScript around that. I've got a feeling Dan might have rewritten this though. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I'd have to ask him. So this is our Markdown editor. The only thing I don't like about this is the fact that there's a preview tab, but I'm pretty sure we can disable preview. No? Let's have a look at the code. Go back one. Views, components, Markdown editor. Can we disable preview? Yes, we can. It counts as a toolbar button, which makes sense because it's in the toolbar. So that will disable the preview. Let's also disable edit because that's the only one we're going to be able to see anyway. We can still edit this. It does auto size. That's great. Let's actually hide the label. So disable label. We don't need the label up there, that's sort of redundant. And I want to make this title editable. So if you double click on it, it will let you edit the title. And then if you do like command enter, maybe it saves it or something like that. That could be cool. I don't really know how that would work because this is outside of the Livewire component. So maybe we'll leave that for now and we'll focus on getting this stuff working. So what do we need? Let's do a computed function called get rendered markdown. Oh, actually first, let's make this reactive. And can we debounce it? I feel like we should be able to debounce it. Let's have a look. Apply state binding modifiers. Yeah, so that's going to be, this is where it gets tough. So we're entangling the value, apply state binding modifiers. Does entangle, does it have like a debounce? Is that? It does not. That is annoying. I basically want to say like entangle.debounce, so we can update the state as often as it needs to, but it will actually debounce the server updates. Is the JavaScript doing any sort of debounce? On keyup.enter, on input resize. Let's just duplicate the tab, look at some JavaScripts. Components, Markdown Editor. We're not debouncing anything. Debounce? Delay? No. Interesting. What happens if I do like state modifier array debounce dot 1 second? Is this gonna blow up the entangle because the property doesn't exist? Yes, it is. Because dot 1 second isn't valid. Do I have to have the seconds? Pretty sure I do. Debounce dot 100 milliseconds. Yes. What about an actual just debounce? Let's have a look. So it doesn't blow that up, but if I start typing, yeah, that is going quite often, isn't it? It's quick, but I don't want it to do it that often. I want it to do it like every 3 seconds. If you're a quick typer, then like this is 3 seconds should be plenty, really. Or lazy. Lazy could work. Ooh, yeah, lazy. Let's make it lazy. I'm already in VS Code. So now if I do like test, 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 and then click outside, it's going to trigger that. That could work. Yeah, that might be perfect. So let's do some stuff. Let's do updated no content. And we'll just DD this note. And we'll just hello. That has updated the content. which is great. We'll validate only note.content just to be safe. And we'll just do this note save. So we're going to get some auto saving, which is very nice. So it means if I do like testing, click out, it's going to save it in the background. And then if I refresh, it will already be saved, which is brilliant. And on the lazy updates, it's going to save, I want to render the preview. And I think I'm going to do this side by side. So let's class grid calls 2 gap x 8. How does that look? I need to wrap this in a div just to be safe. I do not want to print, and we'll just give this an ID. So form, and we'll do a preview. This preview, and in here we can do public function get preview property, and this is going to return just followed you on Twitter, mate. Thanks, appreciate that. I'm very close to 3,000 followers, which is crazy. I think I was on 1,500 at the start of the year. I don't know. I don't really keep track, but I think, yeah, 1,500 or 1,750 maybe. So thank you. Appreciate it. So new Markdown. We just want to return Markdown, convert Markdown. No, we don't. This note content. Or even better, we can just go on to the note model, do a get rendered content, and get a new Markdown, or just return new Markdown, convert this content. Like so. And now up here in our reading time, we can strip all tags from our rendered content. Crazy, I'm almost at 250, but don't care about, yeah, that's fair. It's not mega important. I just appreciate people following my work and you know, watching the stuff that I do. So this can be this note or note rendered content. This is going to look really janky because I'm not doing a raw echo. Okay, so now we've got a raw echo. Let's give this a class of prose. Have we got that plugin installed? I don't think we do. No, we haven't. So let's do Tailwind CSS typography. And add that to our plugins array down here. So require Tailwind typography. Let's restart our watcher. So now if I get the Tailwind plugin to autocomplete, we should have prose, and we'll do prose indigo. And it looks like the line height has been adjusted. Yeah, all the classes are being applied. It's the first child, so it doesn't have any padding. But if we change this to like hello, we get the preview on the right hand side. Let's make that gap a bit bigger. Let's do 12. And let's give this BG white. Rounded. Border grey. 300. And we'll give it some padding. What does the prose do? That changes that. Do max width prose. No, we'll do PX8. Is that going to be too much? Chrome. Yeah, I think that's fine. Maybe 6 and do PY8. Yeah, PX6, PY8. I think that'll be fine. No. Maybe P8. And we'll increase the border radius so that it matches the field over here. I quite like that. So this is an example. And that gets rendered out nicely. Let's see if our list is working. So list item 1. Yeah. List item 2. List item 3. And let's try adding our image. So Markdown test. So let's just try rendering this out. See if this actually renders the image like we would expect it to. It does, it works. It works. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's do alt text and double check that. So we get our alt text, which is brilliant. This should be an auto link, which it is. What else was there? Common mark, PHP. What else was there? Task lists, does that work? So this is task list syntax. Done yet? Does work. The styling's a bit weird because the Tailwind plugin is like the forms plugin's trying to act on that as well as the typography. Disallowed raw HTML. Yeah, this is fine. So this will, the fact that we're raw echoing in here, that will be fine because we're not allowed to put any of these tags in. Sweet, yeah, pretty sweet, I'd say. Quite happy with how quickly we've done this. What, an hour and a half? We've still got no way to create a new note, but I think the way I'll do that will be quite rudimentary. It will be just like create a note and redirect you to the edit page with like a placeholder title, maybe. So I don't have to duplicate all this code. What else did we do? Let's write some tests. Let's write some tests. What tests do we want to write? So we've already tested the Markdown. Let's just do a feature edit Markdown with preview. Yeah, we've already done that. So let's make a test called HTTP controllers. That's not really a controller. Let's just do HTTP. Everything's just in the roots file at the minute. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's leave the tests for now. Yeah, as bad as that sounds, let's just leave it. let's make this editable up here. Let's just pull all of this out. So, do you know, I've never actually done this. So this is going to be my first time. Let's take all of that, wrap that in, I don't know, a section. Place that in there. So this is still going to render. But let's try something like in here, this note title equals testing. Because I want to see if, I think this was added a little while ago, but you can like push back to slots. So let's just do testing. Right, yeah, that's not going to work, is it? Because the title is going to have changed to testing. But we can also see that it didn't update there. Hey, how's it going? I've only got 10% battery left. And I've only got 2 ports on my MacBook. So I can't charge and stream at the same time. So we're going to have to finish off here soon. Let's try and get this working. Let's make an editable title. And we're going to remove that. And we're going to say public function updated note title. This note save. And we'll just return this redirect route to notes.edit, and it'll be for this note. So we're going to force a page reload because at that point the title is going to have changed, so the slug is going to change as well. Let's make this possible. This can be an H2, that's fine. I want to say thank you. When I saw your video, I loved Rust and wanted to make the same Lexa. Nice. Yeah, I enjoy Rust. Rust is a fun language. So we're going to do xdata. And state will be viewing for now. This will only show if we are viewing. Otherwise, we'll show an input box. Let's also keep track of the title. We can just JSON encode the title of the note. And xmodel title. Yeah, no worries, your English is fine. It's pretty good. So xmodel.lazy. So we have to click outside of the input box. And we'll add an init, and we'll say this .watch title. So when you update the title, import is like a class for structures and enums. Am I right? Yeah, that's right. So you can add methods to structures and enums using an import block or like an implementation block. Let's do this .dispatch edit form save title, and we'll just parse it this .title, and this is only going to show when we are editing. So we can add cursor pointer. This is a bit janky, but it'll work. X on click .prevent state equals editing, and we can do this .state equals viewing there. give this a go. No testing required. Okay, so instantly that is not working. Viewing is not defined. Yes. X show equals state equals viewing. State equals editing. So if I click on this, it's going to open up the text box. We're also going to want an event listener down here somewhere. So we can access $wire down here. So let's do just a div with an X on, edit form, save title.window, $wire, .note.title equals, or set note.title to event.detail. Let's just dd this note. So test 1, 2, 3. So I've clicked outside of it. Did anything happen? It did not. I need an X text on the header. Yes, X text equals title. And while we're in here, let's just console log to make sure we're getting in the right place. So test. So we console log. That's some fluent programming. Imposter syndrome level is rising. Well, I do try my best. Why is this .dispatch not working? Maybe because of the colon? So try save title. Oh, I have no X data. Let's namespace the event still. So edit form. So if we do this, cannot bind property note.title without a validation rule present in the rules array. That makes sense. So why don't we call the method? We'll just so like set note title string title. This note update title. And we will have to do the redirect still because the slug's going to change. And we also need to change what the event does. So the event listener is going to do set note title event.detail. It's going to go so test. Testing 1, 2, 3. Example title with auto updating. Cool, right? Yeah, pretty cool. I don't like how not wide that is. Just do width auto. No. I'm flying around my editor, and so if you're losing track, don't worry. We're tight on batteries, so let's just make this a bit wider. Let's just say width half, and let's also make this an X input so that it is a bit nicer looking. We also need an X cloak so it doesn't do like the flash when you refresh the page. This is my title. So The title updates, the slug updates, our number of words is different, our reading time's different. We can edit, it auto saves. We've got our custom imaged syntax, which I actually quite like. Auto links, a little preview over here. So I think we've done pretty well for an hour and 45 minutes. Not bad. We've done some unit testing of our Markdown, which should be passing still. We've got loads of tests from Breeze as well, but all of these tests down here are for our Markdown. Let's commit. So feature, title up, or inline title updates. Laravel for PHP. Honestly, couldn't imagine myself using anything but Laravel for web development, at least. I do a lot of I do a lot of Go and Rust, some C++ now and then, but PHP for web development is hands down, in my opinion at least, the best language for server-side web development. Cool, so hour and 45 minutes. I will put the link for this repository, or let's just do it now. Let's just create a repo. Notepal, my personal note-taking application. Let's just sort the Git repo out for this now. Git remote add, git push, -u origin main. I'll put the link to this repo in the chat. Have you checked out Rocker framework? No, I haven't actually. There we go. I've pinned the message, and I'll also put in the description of the stream once it's done. But thank you for coming along. We built a pretty decent looking application. I'll probably stream again soon actually and do some more stuff. So maybe displaying this information on the edit page. Explicit saving. What other stuff can we do? Adding search to this table. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, thank you for coming along. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will catch you in the next stream.